Hello, everybody. Welcome. How's everybody doing? I just realized that I completely forgot to do the countdown. Oh well. What's going on, everybody? How are you doing? No topic of conversation tonight, as is normal. Whatever's on your mind, we'll shoot the shit about. If Star Wars comes up, great. If Star Wars doesn't, great. I feel like that's healthy in a Star Wars YouTube channel. You gotta have a little bit of variety, right? You can't just only talk about this shit. You also have to talk about other shit. So yeah, I completely forgot, Christian. I was listening to the music. I was scrolling through the internet, and I was like, all right, I'm ready. And I clicked live. I was like, oh shit, I forgot to do the countdown. That's probably the first time in this channel's existence that I've never done a countdown to enter the stream. But welcome, guys. Christian, Jared, Josh, Evan, 80s kid from the 90s, Caretaker, Fet Man, Cameron, Jedi Master Troy. Good to see everybody. This is the story all about how I got my life flipped turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. This is how I became the Prince of Bel-Air, Christian says. Oh, classic, right? Oh, classic. So, actually, the first time that I heard about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie was this morning. When did that news get announced? I feel like people have been, like, the way people talked about it today, it's like it's been announced for a few days. You guys know me. I don't pay attention to too much. Oftentimes news gets to me days after the news is released. So I'm sure I'm a few days behind. But I haven't really gone into any... I haven't read anything about it. I don't know what's released about it. I literally just saw the Star Wars Twitter post about it, and then some people tweeting about it. Oh, it was yesterday? Okay, I appreciate that, Troy. So, yeah. Midday yesterday. Gotcha. I was at work. No. We can do a food stream, Caretaker. Oh, you know me. Yesterday, but it's been rumored for weeks. Interesting. I mean, for me, like... It's cool. I'm really excited for Star Wars to get back on the big screen. But for me, like, I kind of like the Mandalorian and Grogu being in their own little TV space. It's neat that we're getting a movie. I'm not complaining about it whatsoever. And I know we also have other movies on the horizon. I'm not all that excited for it, just right off the bat, just because I wasn't a big fan of the third season. And I kind of like the Mandalorian and Grogu to have their own little like series. It's an idea that doesn't excite me all that well, which is fine. I'm probably in the minority, which is been there plenty of times, and I'm glad a lot of people are excited for it. But like just right off the rip as an idea, it doesn't excite me all that much. But we'll see. We shall see. See Baby Yoda in IMAX for the first time. Baby Yoda in IMAX. That hurt my throat. I forgot to... Man, I'm all discombobulated today. I forgot to tweet about me going live, which isn't a big deal, right? That shit doesn't matter. But I always do that. We started bedtime late with my daughter. Generally, we start bedtime like at 7:30. Start brushing teeth. Start reading books. But literally like 2 minutes ago, my wife took my daughter in her bedroom, and they're doing bedtime now. A little later than normal, but it's all good. All good. In another universe, Rian Johnson is releasing his trilogy. Ricky, what's up, Ricky? Yeah, I mean, I hope that still is going to happen. I've been saying it for years. Like, I love the idea of a bunch of different directors, storytellers getting in the mix. That's what'll keep things interesting and unique and different. You know? Do I want more Rian Johnson Star Wars? Of course. Do I want Danny Boyle Star Wars? Yeah. Do I want Dave Filoni Star Wars? Yeah, of course. Let them all throw their hat in the rings, right? Oh, Josh got some roasted garlic, herb, and Parmesan bread from Costco and made some turkey meatball subs. Chef kiss. That sounds good, man. We went really, like, I would say 4 out of the 7 days of the week, we eat the same shit. We just, like, do chicken breast and green beans. We eat super healthy, like, during the week, but, so that's what we had tonight. I got my wife a really nice, like, air fryer, toaster oven combo thing for Christmas. So I made some chicken in the toaster oven. I breaded it, sprayed some Pam on it, and, you know, a little healthier because you're not using nearly as much oil. But it turned out good. We eat out like once a week. And that's kind of our big, let's just fill up and feel gross meal. The rest of the week is usually just chicken breast and a veggie. Grandma turns 91 today. Nice, Jared. Yeah, my grandma and grandpa, I believe they're both 92, 93. Around there. That bread was fantastic. I've only been into Costco maybe 2 times in my entire life. We don't have a subscription, a membership. I've never had a desire to get one. Like, you know, it's just the 3 of us, me, my wife, my daughter. We got a like good size house. It's big for the 3 of us, but I don't. There's no room for like a bulk supply of bullshit. Our house is 22 square feet, but we got a small pantry, and I don't need like 60 paper towels. The one time that I did go recently to Costco, I bought steaks for everybody at the firehouse. And I got like 8 steaks, and they were super thick, really good steaks. And they were like $40. And I was like, oh my God, meat is super cheap here, and it's really good quality too. My buddy took a screenshot of his membership, sent it to me, and then I brought it up to the counter with my basket of food to pay for, and the girl who was checking me out was like, is this a screenshot? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you know, you can't do that. And I was like, yeah, it's for the firehouse. Like, I'm buying steaks for everybody. And she was like, I'll let it slide. And I was like, thanks, man. Because, you know, buying 8 steaks at Publix or something like that. I mean, holy shit, you can spend like $30 on 2 ribeye at Publix. 30 times 4. Yeah, no thanks. Anyway. Vince, thank you so much. Good to see you, man. Thank you for the super chat and channel support. Vince says, Imagine they made Grogu's return feel earned. The little guy left and it was sad, but then like a month later, he's back in a show far, far worse. Yeah, it is one of the weirder decisions that we've seen given to us in Star Wars, I feel like. The decision to not play it out, the decision to kind of, yeah, to bring him back in a completely different show. It is weird. And whenever you bring that up, sometimes they're like, oh, here we go again with the negativity. No, it's fucking weird, man. It was, in my opinion, a poor decision. I don't. Oh, one sec.
The old trailers for TFA and TLJ. The community was in such a different space around then, and almost everyone was happy and hyped for new Star Wars. I miss those days.
Ricky, thank you so much, man, for the generous super chat channel support this evening. Give me one sec. Yeah, Vince, it was in my opinion, a bad decision, and it feels wonky and unearned and not exciting. And just, yeah, an all-around bad decision. It kind of mirrors all the other decisions. I'm not a big fan of a bunch of tie-ins. You guys know that. If we have a Mandalorian show, I want it to focus on the Mandalorian show. You know, that's what I want. I don't want a bunch of tie-ins and other things that I have to watch. Is that cynical? Yeah, maybe. But that's how I am. I know Star Wars is a big interconnected tapestry, but I like my things to be focused. And, you know, in order to understand a show, I don't want to have to watch another show. Maybe that's the old man in me, but it's I don't really understand it. And you know, people like younger kids nowadays, they probably don't even bat an eye because a lot of things are like that. You know, Marvel, there's a lot of franchises like that, but I'm just not used to it. Maybe that's the problem. I'm just not used to it. But yeah, I'm hoping for the best with the movie, man. I don't know anything about it. I just saw it announced this morning for the first time. Apparently it was announced yesterday. I missed that news. When I'm at work, I don't really dabble on the phone too much, unless I take sweet pictures. Oh, dude. Yesterday, so my officer on the engine, on the fire truck, my lieutenant, he comes up to me and he's like, hey, man, and he's a big Star Wars fan, and we talk about Star Wars all the time. And he was like, hey, man, my aunt and uncle have these Empire Strikes Back sheets that are dated from 1979. And there's 2 sets. Would you like one? And he just gave it to me. I was like, yeah, you sure? I was like, yeah. So he gave me these Empire Strikes Back sheets for a twin bed, which our beds at the fire department are twin beds. These Empire Strikes Back sheets from 1979. And those are my new firehouse. That's my new firehouse bedding. I took a picture of it on Twitter, and I posted it on Twitter. If you follow me on there, you can go check it out. But pretty neat. He's a good dude. Really good dude. But anyway. I appreciate that, Vince. Ricky, thank you so much for the channel support as well this evening. Ricky says, you ever go back and rewatch the old trailers for The Force Awakens and TLJ? The community was in such a different space around then, and almost everyone was happy and hyped for new Star Wars. I miss those days. Let me take a quick sip here. One sec. Let me read that again. I apologize. Ricky says, do you ever go back and rewatch the old trailers for The Force Awakens and TLJ? The community was in such a different space around then, and almost everyone was happy and hyped for new Star Wars. I miss those days. I do. I do revisit those trailers, and I do miss those days. Not because of like the negativity and stuff like that, because I really, for the most part, don't really pay attention to any of it. Just the only time that I really ever see it is, I mean, we all know the culprits, right? On Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that. I see people tweeting about them. I don't seek it out, but like the people that I follow will sometimes like screenshot things that they've tweeted and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, what a silly goose. So I don't really seek it out, but it is there. And look, here's my thing. I don't care what you think of Star Wars. Like it, don't like it, hate the new stuff. Fine, we're friends. We could be friends. That's a silly thing to base a friendship off of, or not liking somebody over, right? If somebody doesn't like a movie you don't like, who gives a shit? You're still friendly, right? At least you should be. That's life. That's life. People are going to have different opinions than you. But whether it be politics or Star Wars, right? Or beliefs. People are going to have a different opinion of you. Better get used to it. That's fucking life. The difference is people think that I don't like them because of their Star Wars opinion. No. I don't like you as a man. Because you're petty and you're thin-skinned and you constantly complain and it's embarrassing. So that's the negativity that I don't like. I don't mind negativity. I really don't. I don't mind discussing movies. I don't mind picking things apart. I don't mind being negative about something that you don't like. It's only natural, right? I don't care about your Star Wars opinion. I don't like you as a man. That's my quote. But yeah, Ricky, I do. I don't necessarily go back to it to like live out the good old days, but I do go back to it to or live out the days of more positivity. I go back to it to kind of feel a sense of nostalgia for a time period in my life, a sense of nostalgia for the time period of the channel, because, you know, let's think 10 years ago, 2014, we were all gearing up for The Force Awakens to come out in a year, right? And it was just a very exciting, you know, we were all a very exciting time period. We were all buzzing with excitement, and you know, it's cool for me to watch those trailers and think about the first time that I saw those trailers, what I was doing, where I was living, where I was at in my life. You know, the first time that I saw the Force Awakens trailer, I was in London at a pub, the World's End pub. And I was waiting to meet a dude who had been following Hello Greedo for a long time. Him and his wife were coming out to a pub. They're from London. They're from England. And they were coming out to a pub that me and my wife were at. And we were going to shoot the shit and down a bunch of beers. And we did. We stayed at it all night. It was a good time. And the trailer dropped while we were in that pub. And I went to the bathroom to watch the trailer so I could watch it and listen to it. It brings me back to, you know, 2014, 2015, where, you know, me and my wife were living in our first house, kind of downtown Jacksonville, in a really fun, eclectic neighborhood. Bunch of breweries and just easy going. Life was simple, you know. Yeah, very nostalgic for that time, Ricky, for sure. But anyway, I appreciate that, man. Cheers. Let me take a quick sip here. The Snoke theories were so goofy, but it was fun to talk with friends and hear everyone's predictions. Yeah, it was. That always brings up the Steele Saunders. You guys remember when he made those stickers, that campaign? He's a good dude. I've met him in person, and He's funny, and I haven't listened to his podcast in a while, and I'm assuming he's still active on it. I don't pay attention to much of anything anymore, but I hope he's doing well. But he made those Your Snoke Theory Sucks stickers, and like a bunch of even Ryan Johnson took a picture with the sticker, and it's funny. Like anybody that has a level head, anybody that kind of can laugh at themselves, is a little bit humble, doesn't take themselves too serious. Anybody that isn't a goofy asshole would see that sticker and be like, that's kind of silly, right? But no, a bunch of people took offense to it, like, my Snoke theory doesn't suck. Oh, where do these guys come from, man? It's a fucking different breed, and it's embarrassing. But, yeah. Oscar Rodriguez, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support as well, man. It's good to see you. Oscar says, I cringe when folks think they're intellectual because they like/dislike certain movies. No one is smarter than someone because they like Norbit. Dude. Yes, absolutely. I tweeted about this the other day, but one of my favorite things, Oscar, at the end of the day, after dinner at the firehouse, and I'm sorry for bringing this up all the time, but it is a third of my life. I spend a third of my life there, sleeping there. But one of my favorite things after dinner, we all sit around after dinner at the firehouse. We all contribute, make our meal, and we all plate it, sit down, eat our dinner, shoot the shit, and after dinner, we always make a pot of coffee, and we sip on some coffee for like 45 minutes, just shooting the shit, talking random nonsense, laughing, cutting up, and it's a good time. And then after dinner, while we're doing the dishes, while we're cleaning up, mopping the floor and everything, we're like, what are we going to watch tonight? What movie are we going to watch tonight? And the variety of likes and dislikes and opinions about movies at a fire station is such a good example, and a good example of the variety of tastes in the world. There's guys at my firehouse that only want to watch horror movies, just less than B-level horror movies, and they're always horrible. There's guys that just want to watch, modern blockbusters. Like last night we watched Gran Turismo. It was fun. It was a good movie. I liked it. There's guys that only want to watch, one guy likes to watch indie movies. He's been wanting everybody to watch The Florida Project for a while, and nobody's got on board except for me. We haven't watched it yet, though. Then there's people that want to watch sci-fi. Like there's or comedies. A lot of people just want to watch, goofball comedies. There's a wide variety of different movie tastes at a firehouse. And to experience that, it's very similar to the military in my experience, but it's even more so here because, you're with somebody for 24 hours and everybody's kind of deciding on a film to watch. And it's just really interesting to see the different tastes. Something that I love gets poo-pooed by a good majority of the people. Like I suggested Looper. I was like, it's a sci-fi movie. It's a little out there because I have to sometimes, preface a movie by saying it's a little out there because I know a lot of these guys are pretty straight and narrow with their choices. They just want to watch, something simple they don't have to really think about. And we watched Looper. Most of them didn't like it. And I was like, oh shit, man, how the fuck don't you like Looper? But hey, that's how it is. You just get over it, right? And it's a good way of kind of just seeing everybody's tastes, what they like and dislike, and realizing that everybody's different. They're still great dudes. They're still good buddies. Still get along. Still die for them. Just because they didn't like the movie you picked or the movie that you liked doesn't mean shit, right? So yeah, Nobody's smarter than someone because they like Norbit. You're right, Oscar. 1,000%. 1,000%. But I appreciate that, man. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Wow. Y'all should watch a movie about firefighters. We have zero desire to do that, man. It's, you know, it's our job, and I don't like. I've never wanted to watch. Like, would an accountant want to watch a movie about being an accountant? We would just sit there and scrutinize it. You know, it's like those Chicago fire shows. Like, you turn them on for 5 minutes and you're like, this is some bullshit. What's up, Cole? Yeah, Looper's fun. Looper's good. It's really unique and different and out there. I like it. Oh man, one of the guys at the station suggested the other day, he suggested a movie that him and his wife watched. And he was like, it's really good. It's got a big twist at the end. I was like, all right, cool. And I never look up Rotten Tomato scores before we watch these movies, just because who gives a fuck, right? You're going to sit down and watch it with your brothers. And he flipped it on, and the cover picture looked like a romance movie, and I was like, this looks like a Nicholas Sparks book. And everybody kind of chuckled. And it turns out it was a Nicholas Sparks book. It was Safe Haven. And we were watching it. It's 2 hours long. And it was just like a straight up like romance flick. And at the end, there's a little twist. But we were like, that was horrible, dude. So that's a good example of, like, you know, sometimes you're going to pick a rotten egg that nobody's going to like. Yeah. Anyway. Jared, yes, I'm very familiar with that. Jared says, did you know that the very first documentary about 9/11 was originally meant to be a documentary about a firefighter in New York City? Was that the 9/11? I'm very familiar with that. Yes, they were there. I believe there were two French brothers who were making a documentary about the FDNY. And they were following a battalion chief around, and there's actually. So they were following a battalion chief around, and they got a call for, I believe it was a gas leak. So they had their their gas readers out on the street in Manhattan, and there's footage of this. It's on some documentaries, and as these brothers are just filming everyday bullshit that the FDNY deals with, a plane flies overhead, and all the firefighters look up, and you see the impact of the first plane. Yes, that footage is it's on a bunch of other documentaries as well. They've the best one is that, in my opinion, is the National Geographic documentary about it that came out. I believe it's called One Day in America. One Day in America. Yeah, One Day in America. 9/11 One Day in America. That footage is on there. So. You know, these two brothers filming a documentary about the FDNY just happened to be there and capture that footage, and the immediate response of the FDNY and that battalion chief and everybody rushing in. Yeah. Anyway. John, thank you so much. John Laskinus, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Me and my friend watched Seven, starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, and that film is fucking insane. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. Oh, I've seen it multiple times, man. Seven was... So there's been different phases in my life, or different movies in my life that I've gone through, like, binging or watching over and over again. And Seven is one of them. Another one is Clockwork Orange, 127 Hours. There's been a bunch of movies that, like, when I discover them, I just can't get enough of them. And 7 was one of those. I believe it came out in like, man, I want to say the late 90s. When did 95, okay, 95. It's actually older than I thought it was. 95. I probably saw it for the first time maybe in like 2000, 2001. And I got obsessed with it. It's one of those movies that I watched over and over again. So yeah, John, I'm very familiar with the movie. It's great. I mean, it's one of the craziest crime thriller movies that you can watch. If there's people listening to my voice right now that have never seen 7, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey, it is wonderful. It is a creepy crime thriller detective mystery story, and it's one of those types of movies that will stick in your brain. Is that David? Yeah, that's David Fincher, right? Yeah, David Fincher directed it. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, that's a good one to suggest at the station. That's a good one to suggest at the station for sure, John. The problem, like, I've only been nervous a couple times on the job, you know, with things. The thing that makes me the most nervous, though, like, fuck a fire, you know, whatever, go in, the thing that makes me most nervous is picking a movie for the guys to watch. Like, I'm like, I hope they like this. But yeah. Anyway, John, I appreciate that, man. Cheers. Great movie. Great movie. Anyway. Yes, have you seen Desperate Days in Blue John Canyon with Aaron Ralston and Tom Brokaw? Yes, Moke. I've seen that. I've watched it numerous times, for sure. I've read Aaron Ralston's book, Between a Rock and a Hard Place. What a title. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Man, my lip is split. My lip's bleeding. Anyway. All I've been watching, Cole says all I've been watching lately is Knights of the Brown Table, now that it's winter. Brown Table? Knights of the Brown Table? What is that? Knights of the Brown Table. Oh! Yeah, I should have known it was something like this, Cole.
Honeybook.
Brown Cinema presents Knights of the Brown Table. From the highest peak all the way down. Oh, nice. This is cool. Reminds me of the old skate videos I used to have on VHS growing up. Knights of the Brown Table is, it looks like a snowboarding documentary? Maybe there's more to it than that. Knights of the Brown Table. Knights of the Brown Table. Self-assembled cast on Brown is about to serve up. Brown, the company, about to serve up a raw take that reinforces the most timeless tradition of snowboarding. The full-length video. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. It is a work of art. HG. Nice. All right. I like this kind of stuff. I've only snowboarded once in my entire life. You know, being from Florida, you don't get to do that very often. God, they make it look so effortless. It's crazy. Cole, is it this hour long on Torment Magazine? Is that what this is? Or is there something longer? This is the kind of thing that, like, I would watch it and then it would become my background noise. Like, I would just turn it on to have something cool in the background while I fold laundry, you know? It's a snowboard movie. That's it. Killer tricks, killer music. Nice. All right, I'm gonna keep this up. I got some chores to do tomorrow. This would be a good thing to put on. I love that kind of stuff. Just dudes having fun, man. Just dudes having fun. Let's see, where was I? The Game Man and Cross, thank you so much for the super chats and channel support. I greatly appreciate that. The Game Man, let me take a quick sip. Let me find the super. Game Man says, "Don't you hate those get woke, go broke losers?" Yeah, it's to me, it's kind of embarrassing. How do I put this? How do I put this? You know, the example that I always give is like Barbie, right? Barbie. There's grown men on YouTube who have made dozens of videos about Barbie. Barbie. A movie that probably wasn't made for them. A movie that I enjoyed. I watched it with my wife. It was fun. It was funny. I'll never watch it again. I mean, it's not my 100% cup of tea, but it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I have a daughter, right? I can't imagine, as a man, getting on YouTube, making dozens of videos about fucking... Like, what was it? Ben Shapiro, like, threw his tickets in the garbage at a movie theater and videoed it. Cool, dude. Whoa, that's so fucking cool. Like, that's the problem, is like, young men will see these guys on YouTube and whatnot and think that this is the correct way to act. Young men will see these guys bitching and moaning about inconsequential bullshit, and they will see them as like spokespeople for a cause. They will see them as like knights and saviors, and they'll listen to them as if they have anything important to say. They don't. They repeat the same bullshit over and over and over again about inconsequential nonsense. You know, if All in the Family was coming out nowadays, you would have YouTube channels devoted to bitching and moaning about there being a message in All in the Family. No, you can go back, you know, as many years as you want. Every piece of media has pushed the boundary. I mean, for the most part, there's so many pieces of media that push the boundaries, try to tell a tale, try to evoke a response, try to set up a moral of the story, right? Morals of the story is something that has been around forever. Didn't we used to like morals of the story? What was the moral of the story? Nah, nothing. It was fucking woke. What was the moral of the story? That it was fucking woke. These silly men, they're embarrassing. Sitting on their microphones all day, bitching and moaning about inconsequential bullshit, and young men thinking that they're cool, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad. We need better role models, for sure. But I appreciate it, Game Man. Long story short. Cross, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Cross, let's see. Let me see. Cross says, it's been 19 years since Revenge of the Sith came out, and hold on, wait. Let me read this again. It's been 19 years since Revenge of the Sith came out. That is crazy. And Revenge of the Sith takes place 19 years before A New Hope. So in a way, the Death Star blows up this year. Oh, I see. All right. It's been 19 years, Cross? That is right. That is insane to me. Holy shit. 19 years since Revenge of the Sith came out. I remember One of my favorite movie going experiences was Cross. I don't know how old you are, but in 2005 when Revenge of the Sith came out, I was 19. And I vividly remember going to see that movie. I dressed up as Greedo. My buddy dressed up as Han. I apologize for anybody that's ever heard this story, but it's fun when Revenge of the Sith comes up and a time frame. But yeah, I dressed up as Greedo. My buddy dressed up as Han. We had a few other friends with us. And, there's a huge line. And back then, a midnight showing was a midnight showing. You're seeing that movie at midnight. There's no 7 p.m. showing the day before the movie comes out. It's midnight, man. And I was Greedo, my buddy was Han, and we made our costumes out of plumbing parts and Goodwill clothes, and just going in to see that movie at midnight. What a great fun experience. The news cameras there, people lined up around the block, around the building, and just a good time with friends, being so young. And what's really neat to me, Cross, is I'm still best friends with the guys that I saw that movie with that night. Me and those guys still get together every year and rent a cabin. All these years later, we're all almost 40. There's 7 of us. We're all almost 40. And we rent a cabin every year and get a bunch of beer, whitewater raft, ride horses, rent a boat. Every year we do something different, but we always get a cabin and a different activity. And I'm still best buds with the guys that I saw that movie with that night. So, yeah, good memories for sure, Cross. But I appreciate that channel support this evening, man. I was 6 back in 2005, only remember a few commercials for the movie and the last few chapters of the Clone Wars micro series. Nice. 6. Yeah, I was 19, so 13 years older than you. It's Cross. To me, it's kind of interesting. I mean, you're younger, but you're not crazy younger than me. I mean, I'm 13 years older than you. But I look at my daughter, she's 5, and sometimes, I'm thinking like, what is she going to be nostalgic for when she's my age? Sometimes, like, if I'm folding laundry or whatever, I'll just put on a 90s commercial playlist on YouTube. Like an hour's worth of 90s commercials, and I'm like, holy shit, I remember all of these. Silly stuff like that. What is she going to remember? And it goes for you too. Like, what will you remember? I mean, you're already there, really. But what makes you super nostalgic for that time period? Oh yeah, this playlist again. Oops. Sounds like we're playing Mario, man. Doesn't it? Sounds like we're playing Mario. Bling bling. It's a me, Mario. That was a little too high. It's a me. Oh, that kind of sounds like Jar Jar. It's a me, Mario. Okay, die. You say people gonna die? I haven't done my Jar Jar impression in a long time. The shows from Disney Channel and Nickelodeon make me nostalgic. Oh yeah, me too, man. Yeah. I've tried to get my daughter to watch a couple things that I watched as a kid, like Rugrats and Doug and, you know, that kind of stuff. And she loses interest pretty quick. But Jar Luigi, there you go. Jar Jar has been resurrected from being shot multiple times by you.
Okay, day? You say people gonna die?
Oh no. That's about all I know. That's about all I can do in Jar Jar. I did upload a how to tie a tie video featuring Jar Jar Binks. It's like a minute long. That was silly. That was fun to make. That's the kind of stuff that I like to make, man. 90s Nicktoons are awesome. Paramount Plus has a lot of them. Nice, fun stuff. We don't have Paramount Plus. That'd be fun to revisit. As a kid, the things that I watched the most was like Salute Your Shorts, Hey Dude, Wild and Crazy Kids, Double Dare, man, I'm blanking. Why am I blanking? Are You Afraid of the Dark? I mean, I guess everything that came on Nickelodeon, really, you know. I guess I never really thought about it, but at a certain point, I kind of stopped. Well, I don't know. I was going to say I stopped watching cartoons, but that's not true. I watched Hey Arnold and Doug and Rugrats and All Real Monsters, Rocko's Modern Life, you know. There's a Nickelodeon documentary that I've wanted to watch, but it was interesting because Nickelodeon, I feel like, kind of pushed the boundaries and giving kids really weird and off the wall stuff that they wanted, you know. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah. Rugrats and Alone in the Dark were my childhood. Alone in the Dark, the game? Isn't that a game? Alone in the Dark. Yeah, video game. The Alone in the Dark one. The first one. How many are there? Alone in the Dark complete playthrough. Let's see. Is this the game that I'm thinking of? Let me see. Yes, it is. Dude. Alone in the Dark on the PC. Yep, I had this. Dude, you're bringing me back, man. I'm watching a video. Alone in the Dark. And then one of the games that I used to play at my buddy's house on his original PlayStation was called D video game. PlayStation. When did that come out? D. 95. MS-DOS. Laura, find an item for a puzzle. Man. Oh, Afraid of the Dark, yeah. Well, Alone in the Dark, too. Alone in the Dark for me as well. The first one. I don't know if they made more, but I remember vividly playing that. Yeah. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah, there's one in particular that I remember creeping me out big time. I can remember like a specific shot of like It's probably me misremembering it. I'd be very surprised if it was like this, but there's like a shot of a hallway and stairs from the side, and you see like a figure in the distance in like a room, just kind of standing there, maybe a little transparent, and then it disappears. And for whatever reason, like, that creeped me out big time as a kid. And I'm wondering if that's a real memory or not. You know how some things are so fuzzy? I mean, shit, that was probably 25, 30 years ago. When did Alone in the Dark, or Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark started in 90, so yeah. Probably 30 years ago when I saw that. Wow. Crazy. Crazy. Jared says it's probably seems weird to kids nowadays to see SpongeBob paired with Danny Phantom and Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron, since those last three are no longer on air. Do they team up in certain episodes? My daughter loves SpongeBob. She loves it. Her favorite shows right now are SpongeBob, Big City Greens, which is great show. I think they're still making episodes. Those are her two favorite right now. Yeah. I never got into SpongeBob as a kid. And I didn't realize it was older. SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, it came out in 99. So I was 13 when SpongeBob first aired in 99. I never watched a single episode back then. Honestly, the first time I ever watched an episode of SpongeBob was when my daughter started watching it. So yeah, growing up, I never watched it. And, you know, I was 13. I was probably on the, you know, I was probably getting out of watching cartoons and stuff like that. They're making a movie for Big City Greens. Oh, no kidding, Wanderers. Big City Greens movie. Nice. All right. Big City Greens movie. I hope it's released in the theaters. It won't be released in the theaters. Bummer. It will premiere on both Disney Channel and Disney Plus on June 6th, 2024. Yeah, it looks like it's not coming out in the theater. June 6, 2024. What else happened on June 6, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see. Big City Greens movie theater release? Let's see if anything comes up. It looks like it's just going to be streaming. That's fine. Anyway. John Laskinus, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that. John says you raised your daughter right if she loves SpongeBob. Well, thank you. Yeah, she loves it. I mean, it's either Big City Greens or SpongeBob. It's kind of an even split what she wants to watch. You know, she's sometimes I feel like, well, she's been watching it for probably 2 years. She probably started watching it when she was like 3.5. And was she a little too young, maybe? Yeah, maybe. You know, I'm not one to really care about words and language and bad words and stuff like that. I really don't care. But she was probably a little too young to be watching it. Not that SpongeBob has bad words, but you don't want your kid to say stupid and dummy and, you know, stuff like that, which they do. But like, she's been watching it for years and she absolutely loves it. And I'm sure some parents out there would be like, you let your 5-year-old watch SpongeBob? Yeah. What? Who gives a shit? Like, can't watch Coco Melon all the time. What are you talking about? Anyway. But all right. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Yeah, so what is today? Today is Wednesday, January 10th. I might try to upload a video tomorrow, just something easy, quick, and whatever. Talking about Battlefront 3. Nothing's released, and sometimes I see a bunch of people like complaining about there not being a Battlefront 3, and it might be interesting to talk about it. Just ramble on about a Battlefront 3 possibility. Or I don't know, man. I've been so busy lately. I might just sit down and do nothing. But anyway. Alright, guys. To everybody who hung out, thanks for hanging out. To everybody who super chatted this evening, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for bringing up some just all over the place topics. That's what I love. I love just coming on here and shooting the shit. Not everything needs to be Star Wars, right? And that's what makes these things fun. And for me, at least. I know people probably come on here and just want to hear all my opinions about, like, the Mandalorian movie. But, you know, we'll talk Star Wars. But we'll also talk about life. And fun things. And food. And everything under the sun. And above the sun. And beyond the sun. And space. And whatever's out there. All right. Enjoy the rest of your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you on the flip side. See ya.